My goal is not just to provide a lot of reviews and analysis of music. I also have the kind of higher, lofty ambition of hopefully providing some kind of record for future academics, future scholars, future lovers of hip hop and music to understand the moment that we're living in. So when we talk about the Carter Six by Lil Wayne, you need to understand this album created a great disturbance in hip hop culture. It was as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were compelled to scream from the rooftops, Lil Wayne is done. This is trash. This is garbage. Finished. Finito. Kaput. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who is going to tell you this album is, drumroll, not bad. I know. I understand. People they're going to call me a forced contrarian. They're saying I'm just trolling for clicks. I'm going to back myself up on this, okay? You check out the runtime. You're going to see. I'm going to spend some time on this. If you want to see what I believe to be the best criticism of this album online, I suggest you go to Rob Markman's analysis. I think it's the most fair. I think it's the least reactionary. Like, I agree with most of the things that he says, even if we don't come to the same conclusion. So I'll include a link to that. I've been spending the last 2 days listening to the album and then watching a video about it. Listening to the album and then watching a video about it. And people really have lost their goddamn minds. And I understand why. And you know, I'm just trying to fight against this kind of black and white consensus that's just been showing up. Wayne was good, Wayne is now bad. There's an element to which I feel like it's being a little bit interneted, where I had that same question about the Clip song. It was like the Clip song, everyone was talking about how great it was. It was almost even impossible to hear it because, and it is as great as everyone says, but it took a while for me to really understand because the groupthink was so strong. The consensus was so unanimous. And this album is like the opposite. There's just hate on hate on hate on hate for an album which even the people who say it's trash, even the people who say it's worthless, will talk about its many high highs and who will talk about its many low lows. It is at best good and interesting and Lil Wayne-ish, and at its worst, it is cringe, regrettable, and Lil Wayne-ish. You see, if you ask me, if you ask me, what is Lil Wayne's catalog? It's amazingly high highs and tremendously low lows, which makes the Carter Six, not surprising, just a Lil Wayne project. So I do want to say one thing. I might be insulting Lil Wayne by saying that. You know, like if you say that a bad project or a project that is perceived of as bad is an average project of that artist, that might indicate that you don't hold that artist in high esteem, right? But let me go through my little caveat here. I have a weird history of listening to Lil Wayne. I remember, hey, pull around the fire, kids, let me tell you. I remember Cash Money Records and the Hot Boys, right? I remember that. I remember that very well. I remember that he was the one, okay, Young Turk, but he was one of the other members of Hot Boys initially. He was like one of the lesser members. If Hot Boys were Wu-Tang Clan, he was not Method Man. He was Inspector Deck, not one of the people who was most famous. And so it's been interesting to watch his career from that perspective. Rob Markman correctly pointed out something that I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Noriega actually featured him on this album in '99, and it was strange at the time because it was like, wait, the young kid from Hot Boys? You didn't try to get Juvenile or BG? So I've been listening to Lil Wayne probably statistically since before you were born. But as you know, the lore on this channel, I suffered mid-20s music death. From like 2005 till 2018 when I started this channel, I stopped caring about new music unless it was made by Kanye or Radiohead. That was basically it. So I was busy. So when you think about the height of Lil Wayne mania, Little Waynia as I like to call it, the golden era, 2006 to 2011, man, I was having kids. I was getting a job. When the Carter 3 came out, it was 2009. I was on the job market while finishing my thesis. So I just was completely missing it. I have seen him twice in concert. Okay, I did see him on April 2nd, 2000, when he was 17 years old at the Fleet Center in Boston. A concert which, if I now look up, it turns out it ended in a bloodbath backstage. I didn't know that at the time. I just learned that. That's fascinating. And then I saw him one more time on August 11th, 2023, when he was 40. So it's amazing for me to be in this position as somebody who loves rap music, loves hip-hop. I was there before the highs and after. But that entire middle section, I have just been observing. The same way you might be going back to old school rap and being like, what must it have been like to listen to Eazy-E in 1988, right? I can tell you what it was like, But I don't really know what it was like to listen to Lil Wayne in 2009. So I've gone back. I've listened to all the Carters. I listened to the heavy metal one. I understand why he's so great. I bought this little exclusive premium vinyl figure. It's in the mail, but I actually bought the signed version of the Carter 6. So, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. But I think that might be why I'm capable of having a more even keel appraisal of this project. Because, the albums at this point now, the Lil Wayne albums that I listen to the most are the Carter 6, the Carter 5, and The Block is Hot. Those are the albums that I know the best. Pretty strange, I know. Well, I listen to Carter 2, 3, and 4 also a fair amount. But still, in general, those are the ones that I know the best. So I don't have the nostalgia. Despite my long history of enjoying this artist, I do not have that nostalgia. And I think that might be part of the issue here, everybody. Did you know that there's a large debate in the sports community about basketball? That basketball used to be better in the 90s. There was more creativity. There was more action. Nowadays, it's all just driven by data, and it's a bunch of nerds pulling up at the three-point line and shooting threes. And in the old days, it was way more exciting. Did you know that is statistically and factually just wrong? I was around in the 90s, and I have that memory too. So, I didn't watch basketball a lot either until towards the end of my dad's life. We watched a lot of basketball together, so I kind of fell in love with it 4 or 5 years ago. So I watched the 90s, and then I kind of fell out of basketball, and then I came back to it. And I sort of had that memory too. I was sort of like, man, it used to be better. I remember watching Jordan going up against Malone, and I just had this imagery. But the problem is, it's in our head. It's in our head. That's the issue. We've been watching highlight reels of 90s basketball for 30 years. We've been watching highlight reels. If you actually watch a full basketball game from 1998, you just take some random game, okay? Don't count Jordan. He doesn't count, okay? He was too amazing to watch. But I don't know. You watch a Mavericks versus the Nets game from 1998, you are going to see it is a far inferior product in terms of how the athletes are performing, how exciting the game is. It's just they were taking 2-pointers instead of 3-pointers. It's ridiculous. But it's how it feels to us because we've only seen the highlights. And I think for a lot of people who love Wayne, they had this amazing thing. Sorry, I got a hornet around me right now. It's just going to be going on here. They love Lil Wayne, and they remember what it was like. And they just remember the great hits. They remember the songs that they love. They don't really remember how often they used a magical button that is very necessary when appreciating the catalog of Lil Wayne. I'm going to show it to you. You might not know what it looks like. I don't think a lot of people know what it looks like based on their reaction to this album. It looks like that. Now, when you click on this button on your phone, it goes to the next song. And I can tell you, as someone who's revisited the Carter 3 in the last couple days, because that's generally been held up as his best album, I don't know, y'all. Do you really listen to Pussy Monster? Can you just tell me that? Like, tell me. Tell me in the way to go, Skye. Way to ask for engagement by asking, do you listen to Pussy Monster? But you can just say PM. Do you really, or do you skip it? Do you? Do you understand that Lil Wayne has over 2,000 songs? Do you know how often you have to hit this button? Not because he's bad, but because that's part of what makes him great, is his prolificness, his ability to craft something out of nothing, and sometimes that thing that he crafts is kind of crap. Like, that's what makes him great. If he is one of the greatest of all times, which he is, it's not in spite of the fact that he has so many skips, but the fact he has so many skips is a product of what makes him so great. So why now? Why now are we attacking him for wave riding on trends? Okay? Where's T-Pain? Hey, Wayne, where's T-Pain? He was all over some of those early Carters, and he's not on this one. I can't figure it out. Okay? Because he's always done that. He's always had trendy features. He's always had corny rhymes that show a lack of maturity, that are mixed in with rhymes that show some kind of personal growth. And I will admit there's less personal growth and maturity on this album than on a typical Lil Wayne project. I admit there's less. There's not none. Y'all are too black and white. I don't know if you're actually listening to the Maria song or if you're too busy just saying, I can't believe he sampled this weird emoji face, right? Like, all right, y'all just listen to the music. But on this album, the highs are highs, full of great punchlines, great beats. I think it comes down to this. In one of my favorite movies of all time, a movie called This Is Spinal Tap. It's an improvised movie about a 80s rock band a 60s and 70s rock band that's aging and trying to play in the 80s, and they're kind of out of it. And they're discussing something in a lobby, and he's going, it's a fine line. It's a fine line between clever and stupid, right? It's a fine line with Lil Wayne between clever and cringe. So the same person who listened, I'm in the ocean getting shark pussy, and said, yeah, is going to hear Peanuts to an Elephant and go, boo. It's a fine line. And for the most part, it's not even up to the artist what's on which side. Which is a good line, which is a bad line. How is Pussy Monster good, but Peanuts to an Elephant is bad? It might be on us because I'm not sure he is that different. It might just be that our perception of him has changed, which ties into all these things. Why? Why is our perception of him changing? I think there's a few reasons. One, our culture, our wide culture is overly divided, right? That's how people make money. All right. So just in case you're wondering, hey, why is our culture so divided? It's how they make money. Okay. That's how Meta makes money. That's how all the ghouls make money. So as long as they make money on us hating each other, they're going to figure out how to help us hate each other the most until our entire civilization completely breaks down, going back into caves and hitting each other with rocks. And they'll figure out a way to put a commercial on the rock, and then they'll be happy, right? Like, that's just the way that we are. And that's filtered down into all aspects, all subcultures of the larger human culture in existence. So the Kendrick and Drake divide has reached this sort of level, and I've come up against this. I'm a huge Kendrick fan, and I'm accused of being a Kendrick stan. But I have been accused by leveling what I believe to be reasonable criticisms of Kendrick Lamar has resulted in people just blasting me into space like Team Rocket. It is crazy how people get mad at me. And I have, I believe, made some very interesting and positive points and original points about why Kendrick Lamar is so great. But that doesn't matter, because if you say, hey, actually, selling Gatorade is not cool. I'm sorry, everybody. It's not cool. It's not a 4D chess move. You're just taking your essence and giving it to the Pepsi Corporation. All right? I said it. That's what it is. It doesn't mean that it's evil or that he's bad, but the fact of doing that is not some grand thing. Anyways, point is, great, now I'm going to get everyone mad again. I think the perception after last year of Lil Wayne being upset with Kendrick Lamar has sort of put him in people's minds, not like fully in the Drake camp, although of course he discovered Drake. Or whatever. He discovered him. Screw it. Like, put him in that camp. But like, it sort of took the people who were maybe on the fence about him and kind of pushed him further away. And then, of course, he supported, speaking of division, he supported Donald Trump, which there's no cool way to support Donald Trump, so that's not cool. There's the fact that, like, everybody has known that he has serious problems with drugs and alcohol, and he talks about, not alcohol, just with drugs and other drugs and a different kind of drug, and then some other drug I never even heard about until Lil Wayne himself told me about the drug that he's doing. It's clear. It's clear when you see him talk, when you hear him rap, you hear the difference in his voice. It's kind of a sad, fading thing. But all of a sudden, that's more apparent because we've had to have this debate about whether or not he should be at the goddamn Super Bowl. And of course he shouldn't have. It just never made any sense. He was not capable of doing that. There may also be a thing where... So there is the Me Too movement has not really hit music. It will. I think everyone's waiting for Mick Jagger to die so that then they can go after Mick Jagger. I think that's what's going to happen. Mick Jagger's going to die. Everyone's going to say how great he is. And then everyone's going to start looking at his lyrics where he's talking about banging 13-year-olds. Literally. I'm not even joking. I'm like literally using those words. I know you're only 13 years old. I don't want no ID. If you could just come upstairs with me, it ain't no capital crime. Okay? Just those are actual Mick Jagger lyrics. And then it's going to kind of fall and go down. And I don't know. There's a lot of rumors going around. So I don't know what they are. I know that he suffered from sexual abuse as a teenager. I know there's a very fascinating story that he needs to tell about that and make more clear. I know I don't know. Maybe there's some sense of kind of pre-cancellation jitters. So I think that's why. And I think the drugs maybe lead to the sense of it being unfocused. But again, I've been listening to a lot of Lil Wayne over the last couple of days. Do you really think that the Carters are focused projects? I mean, I've seen a lot of people criticizing, like, oh, he's just cobbling together the songs he's been recording over the last couple of years and just throwing them onto an album. I mean, that's what the Carter 5 was. Isn't that what the Carter 4 was? And isn't that what the Carter 3 was? Like, I know but I mean, isn't that his style? Isn't that what we love about Lil Wayne? He's not going to make a rap opera. He's just going to be ill, and then he's going to record himself. Are we mad at Steph Curry for not winning the slam dunk contest 15 years in a row? Like, it's what he does. Is there not also a chance that there's a little bit of ageism going on here? There is. There is a little bit of ageism going on here. Everybody just dunked on that new Snoop album with Dr. Dre. I reviewed it. There's a lot of bad things about it, but it's still Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and I don't feel like they got the respect they deserved on that. A truly great album, like the LL Cool J and Q-Tip album, some people liked it. Shout out to FD Signifier who made a video about it. But like in general, it just sort of passed under, everyone just kind of said whatever. Like, hip-hop has had a problem for a long time of eating its youth. I mean, of eating its old. Right? Not eating its young, eating its old. Like, once you're through being young and hot, who cares? There's very few exceptions. Nas is the great exception. Nas is the Neil Young of rap music. Nas's first good album was 1993, and his last good album was his last album, 2023. That's 30 years. No one's like that. The same way that Neil Young released great albums in 1968, and in 1995, and in 1998, and in 2000. Like, it's unbelievable to be able to do that. I think we need to think of Lil Wayne and a lot of these great artists like Paul McCartney of the Beatles. Paul McCartney didn't make any great albums until after the 70s. So that means that he spent, 20 years, let's give him 20 years making great music. And then 40 years making music where you go, that's not so good. But it is Paul McCartney. Let me just use this magical button that was created. Oh, this one's pretty good. Oh, hey, actually, that song, I actually kind of like that. Oh, listen to that melodic change. I kind of know what it is. Rock fans listen to Paul McCartney albums and they don't go, "Holy shit, this is the worst. F, absolute F." Because they know. He's Paul McCartney. He hasn't lived on planet Earth like in any real meaningful way in 60 years. Like he has lived above humanity at a level of fame, notoriety that is incomprehensible. So how could he possibly be making music that's good? How could he possibly do it? And much like Lil Wayne, much like Paul McCartney, Lil Wayne is not dead. He's not dead. And much like Paul McCartney, he's not retired. Let's go back to that show that I saw. Okay, the show that I saw in 2000 with the Rough Riders and the Cash Money Millionaires. Let's go down the list of the people who are performing. How many of them? Okay, Eve, retired. DMX, sadly passed. Juvenile, still touring, but basically a nostalgia act. Swizz Beatz, hey man, he's still awesome. He's still making great beats. The Lox, hey, they're coming back again, but they're not exactly in the zeitgeist. When they release their album, it is not going to be the number one topic on hip-hop commentary online, I don't think. BG released an album last year. It was pretty good. I don't know what Young Turk's up to. Like, in general, everyone, they are not at the level that Lil Wayne is. He is still relevant. He is still active. He's still alive despite his actions, and I feel like we just need to celebrate that. I think we need to focus more on that celebration. So the albums, all of the things that I love about Lil Wayne are just still here. And I think all the things that you love about Lil Wayne are also here. And the lows are always here as well. The self-destructive drug bars, so many sex lines that are just like so gross, Just all on that fine line between cringe and clever. And just guitars. Why so much guitars? You know what I mean? Like why so much guitars? I don't understand it. I wish somebody in his circle would tell him, like, Wayne, dude, just put down the guitars. It doesn't sound good. The guitarists that you find, there's one part where he plays guitar, and it's kind of nice. But other than that, he just doesn't seem to know how to use them in any kind of interesting way. I do think there might be some AI usage on this album, which makes it sound kind of uncanny and kind of weird. So let's get into the music. Sorry, I just had to moisturize. I don't do advertisements on this channel. But I need to tell all my men out there, especially middle-aged white guys like myself, moisturize. Don't be a tough guy. Now, I don't usually use Cetaphil. I'm obviously using that as a joke because he did that terrible commercial during the Super Bowl, which is part of the reason why people don't like this album. But it's the easiest thing you can do to stay youthful. Okay. So I want to do the most scandalous thing I could possibly do. I am going to not only defend, but champion the songs I have heard the most hate for, because I unironically think they are not good rap songs. They are great rap songs, and you all, excuse my language, are tripping, okay? Peanuts to an Elephant and Gloria are great rap songs that are innovative, unexpected, creative, and all of you are going to come back in a couple years and say, I think there was just mass hysteria. We were so excited to point out the fact that the song has elephant noises in it that we couldn't listen to the fact it was what we wanted all along. I quote lyric genius. I quote rap genius when they say that Peanuts to an Elephant is criticized for its unusual instrumentation. Why? Why are we criticizing unusual instrumentation? I understand. There's a thing that happens on the fucking internet, and it drives me crazy, where people observe something different, and they think it is criticism to state the thing that is different. That is not criticism. That is observation. This song has an elephant in it. Okay. Criticize, analyze, explain why that is bad. Because when Missy Elliott did it on Work It, so I can slam, sick it, and verse it, you got a big, let me work it, all right? When she did it, we understood why. Nobody made fun of it. Using an elephant sound isn't inherently bad. If it was a gun sound, just choo choo, would you say Wayne used sound effects are part of rap music? Always have been. So why are we all running around patting ourselves on the back for literally hearing a sound and saying the sound that we hear and then laughing? Be funnier. Be more interesting, internet. Have a point. I got heated. If you like that kind of energy, smash like bucket, subscribe. But it is my biggest frustration where people will watch a movie or listen to a song and they don't provide any analysis. They just say a thing that's different. It's sort of like being in middle school. And like if you wear an article of clothing that people don't think you should wear, they'll just say, cowboy hat. Like that's not an insult. And no, I didn't wear a cowboy hat in middle school. I wore one in college. The girls liked it, I told myself. So, this song, it's awesome. The beat's awesome. And I get it. It's produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's very trendy to dislike him because the Worry About Bruno song and because Hamilton is excellent but questionable. But it's a great song. It's interesting. Boom, 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 boom. But you remember it. Boom, boom, boom. And the compressed sounds that he's putting on those synthesizers and the way that he's using bass. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. The kind of walking bass line. Yeah, it does kind of sound like Inspector Gadget. And you know what? Good. The Inspector Gadget song fucking rules, you idiots. Oh my God, there's a French rap group that sampled that. Oh man, who was it? Is the Gremlins maybe? Maybe it was 113. I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with sounding kind of like that. I go back to Rob Markman's analysis where he compared it to a detective sound and then he connected that to the fact that New Orleans is known for having music that sounds like Spy Hunter, like detective music. Because I gotta make sure I got all the moisturizer in. It's a rough situation. Because Triggerman was the bounce beat basis for all New Orleans bounce music. And Triggerman was based on a song called Drag Rap by the Showboys, which was all based on the Dragnet theme, which was a detective show. So that's why, again, hey, you want to watch somebody call this album bad in a good way? Check out Rob Markman's work. It's great. It's awesome. So I don't know. For me, when I listen to Lil Wayne, when I think about what I love about Lil Wayne, this is it. It's idiosyncratic. It's bizarre. It's out of left field. It's creative. It's funny. It's playing with words. It's being not afraid to be pointed at and saying, what is this that's going on? The whole thing is they're all based on elephant bars. Why is everybody acting like that's a bad thing? Why? That's an interesting idea. Talking all that shit, it's irrelevant. Yelton's just peanuts to an elephant? Man, that's a hard line. That's a good line. I'm the wrong elephant to F with. You know the type to pop. I'm the type to pop the trunk quick. Pop the trunk, pop the trunk. That's a catchy line, and it's a funny idea because it gives you, you have the image of Lil Wayne being like in a Tarantino movie. Okay, just if you don't know. Quentin Tarantino, famous American filmmaker, he did not invent the image, but he loves two things: women's feet and the trunks of cars. So the image of a camera being placed in the trunk of a car while someone opens up the trunk to grab all the guns from the back. This is a creative and interesting line. Pop the trunk like an elephant. I love it. All red elephant bitch Donald Trump. I love it. I mean, I don't love Donald Trump, but I like the idea because obviously the symbol of the Republican Party is a red elephant. But I still act a donkey like, ha, what's up? He is acting like a donkey. This song is him acting like a donkey. He's screwing around with us. He is laughing in your face because he's making a goofy-ass fun rap song just like you always like him to do. He's an interesting guy doing interesting stuff, and now all of a sudden we're turning on him. Because he's old? Because he does Cetaphil commercials? It's funny stuff. Monkey on her back like Michael Jackson in Bubbles. Tunchi on the track. I'm gonna have to go Dumbo. They gonna go uh-oh, elephant in the room, but I came straight out the jungle. Gun so effing jumbo. Big face hundos. My bitch got an elephant booty, not a rump roast. I love this song. And listen, if you don't love this song, that's okay. But I legitimately do not understand how you can love Lil Wayne and hate this song. To me, this is the essence of Lil Wayne. Offbeat, creative, unexpected, outrageous, all of those things, while having an ability to come up with lyrics off the top of his head that most rappers could not come up with if they had a pen, a paper, and 1,000 years. That's how I feel. Now let's get to Maria. Don't worry, I'm not going to get mad again like I did about the elephant thing. Sorry. I might have been working through some things on that. I think I was working through some things. I apologize. I apologize to you, my audience. I've seen a lot of people on the internet say, sampling Ave Maria? What's the deal? What is this? What is Wayne doing? Do you know it's one of my favorite Lil Wayne songs? And this is not a cool guy hipster take. It's the song where he samples Harry Belafonte. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. He samples Deo, the Banana Boat song. Who does that? Who samples Harry Belafonte? There's weird samples. There's odd samples all over hip hop, but they're usually like arcane. Take like Run This Town by Kanye West. I don't remember the name of the group, but Run This Town is a sample of a German rock band. Like, who finds that sample? But it doesn't sound completely alien in the context of the music. But the Banana Boat song, who samples the Banana Boat song? Lil Wayne did, and he made it work, or Lil Wayne's producers did. And here we had the song produced by Wyclef. Okay, so Wyclef Jean, complicated figure, great artist, arguably top 3 most important producers in the 1990s in hip-hop. Definitely top 5, arguably top 3. An insanely important producer. But I want to just take a second to actually think about what does it mean that Wyclef Jean and Lil Wayne are sampling Ave Maria. It's not just a song that you associate with religiosity. It's Catholic. It's particularly a part of like the Catholic rites, right? It's the kind of song, in particular, Catholicism has a particular emphasis on having veneration for the Virgin Mary. So what connects Lil Wayne and Wyclef? France. If you don't know, right, that like New Orleans is not like the rest of America. It's not. It's not like it at all. Not only did it basically invent all the music that we listen, not only is it the basis of most music that we listen to, but also it's a Catholic state because it used to be a French colony, and French colonies were all Catholic. Haiti used to be a French colony. Most people who are there are ostensibly Catholic. Both places have a history of mixing together a amalgamized religion, which we call voodoo, which is not an insult. It is just an amalgam of other religions from Africa that were survived and reconstituted in the New World the same way that the Creole languages were, all right? That passed over. So both places, especially Haiti, but also to a certain extent culturally, Louisiana, we had this interesting mixture of these elements. So taking Ave Maria and having these verses together, and I know you're all sitting there like laughing at them sampling Ave Maria as a joke. I don't know why. This isn't the elephant song. This is a serious song. Wyclef's verse is a heartbreaking, beautiful illustration of the nature of immigration. How did he get to America? Ave Maria, I hold on to my rosary. Hey, I'm Protestant. I've never held on to a rosary. I don't even understand what the rosary is, okay? If you gave me a rosary, I actually don't know what it means to say the rosary. Hail Mary, full of grace. I've heard all the things all the time, but I don't know what it means because it's like abstract to me. The same way that like I couldn't tell you to which direction I should pray to Mecca right now, because I'm not Muslim. We come and we go like leaves, as it was written, shall it be done. I was born in the Croix de Bouquet slum. Talking about where he was born. Light a candle, it's my birthday, no velvet, just a dirt cake. Cemetery was my playpen. Come meet my imaginary friends. My daddy, he Haitian like Basquiat's father, so every time I write, I'm painting a picture. Some family took a boat to get to Brooklyn, but they never made it. I cried me an ocean because so many people who tried to get to America from Haiti died in the ocean. Two twins look like God's pillars. Talking about the Twin Towers. So that's how it was arriving to America. People forget this because we live in a time that is so anti-immigrant that we don't understand the beauty of America is the feeling that immigrants had when they came here and felt that they were finally in a place where they were going to be safe and cared for, that they were huddled masses and they would be cared for, not branded rapists and thrown into a jail in a different country. Okay? That was actually like the whole thing. Tall woman with a big torch, welcome to Liberty, New York. Like, that's the dream. That's the beautiful thing. My wife, she's a scientist, okay? She's a very analytical person. But when she came to America for the first time, and she saw the Statue of Liberty, she started crying, okay? This is, right? I'm crying just thinking about it because that's the reality of our country. The Statue of Liberty is actually the coolest thing about our entire country. And that's what this is about. And he's talking about the devil in the streets and the life and crowd around an oven just for heat, though life could be bittersweet. I'm Cool G of the symphony. And talking about all this growth, deep sleep like Michael never knew he was mental till he put one in De Niro. So it's fascinating because he's making reference to the movie Joker. And then Ave Maria was used for the movie The Batman. So it's almost kind of like a DC a DC Batman universe connected thing. And so it's this whole personal verse. And then we get to Lil Wayne's verse where he's consciously copying Mr. I don't care, Mr. I'm just going to talk about elephants and shark pussy, right? He likes a whole verse based on Wyclef's verse. Ave Maria, hold on to my rosary, keep it close to me, working my sorcery. Okay, again, that's that interesting mixture of non-Christian amalgamated African religions, I think, that are more present in Louisiana than in other parts of the country, and quite present in Haiti. I need love like Courtney. More importantly, Santa Maria, got blood on my rosary, but that's how it's supposed to be. The birth of a culture. I walk out of a delivery room with blood all over me. I love you, Miss Sita, like Mother Teresa. Now listen, Lil Wayne's mother, Miss Sita, was a great woman. Mother Teresa is not. Look it up, everybody. Ugh. Anyways, it's a weird thing. I know, you're going, Skye, you can't be saying bad things about Mother Teresa. Yes, I can. Look it up. Just look it up. That's all I'm saying. Look it up. But I get the point. The point is that she's a great angel. And every time I pray, I never forget her. My daddy, a heathen, he beat on my mama. So every time I see her face, I kiss it. What an amazing, heartfelt thing where he's describing his life and how he came into the life and how he's here. And he's mirroring Wyclef Jean. And he's using the emotional power of this song, plus the intergenerational connection that it has to this kind of faith. There's a reason why they're called wards and not neighborhoods, right? There's a reason that there's bishops. There's a reason that there's cathedrals, right? Like Louisiana's just a different place. It's awesome. There's no tomorrow. I said that yesterday. Why do you listen to Lil Wayne? Do you listen to Lil Wayne because he says lines like no tomorrow? I said that yesterday. Because I do. That's what I love about Lil Wayne. And okay. That's not to say we're not going to be using this puppy quite a bit today. Let's go through the rest of the album. Now that I've proven to you how good those songs are that everybody loves to dunk on. King Carter, that's okay. That's fine. Too much guitar work. It's kind of silly. His voice isn't on there. It's okay. It's an intro track. Then we get to Welcome to the Carter, which is like a great song. Is it? 1 second. I think it's AI. Okay, but... And I like it anyway. Don't cancel me, internet. I think it's AI. I think so. Because how are they finding some old song where they're saying, welcome to the Carter? I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's very well made. It may be an AI basis, but how they chop up the AI beat is actually kind of interesting. Man of my word, I stand on my word. You all get on my nerves. I get high and land like a bird. Respect I don't demand, I deserve. My standards superb. Family first, family second, and family third. I, who is it? Rapaholics? Canadian guy? He has a lot of good stuff on his disappointment with this album. I don't agree with his conclusions, but I think he makes his points really well. Like, he quoted this verse as an example of why this album's bad. Family first, family second, family third. To me, that's awesome. Maybe that's just because I'm a family man, but I think that's great. And if it's beef, I turn the whole cow to leather. Why do we listen to Lil Wayne? To me, I listen to that. And then there's a beat change, and it went from checkin' to the who signed checks. My flow is like the flu I catch. I'm higher than the tube sock stretch. Life's a bitch. I'm about to make her your ex. Why do you listen to Lil Wayne, if not for lyrics like life's a bitch, I'm about to make her your ex? So before you run around putting 0 out of 10 and not goods all over the place, just remember, Lil Wayne is not dead. Lil Wayne is alive, and he is capable of some truly horrendous music, as we will hear later on in this album. I'm not done with you by damn sight, Lil Wayne. There is some trash on this album. Everybody is not wrong for saying there's bad stuff on this album. But I think we're going too hard. Because life is a bitch, I'm about to make her your ex is the kind of lyric that makes you go, ha, ha, ha. I remember where I was. I was driving onto Jefferson Avenue, taking a left off of 490. It's kind of a pain in the ass because there's a lot of traffic. And I remember hearing that, and I say to my wife, what do you think of that line? Right? And he said, R.I.P. to Jerry West. My wife's like, the basketball guy, because we watched Showtime together. A weird fade out, and then we get to Bells. So this is a lot of the good and the bad of this album. Obviously, he's paraphrasing the song Bells, which is track what? What track is that on radio? By the way, if you don't know LL Cool J's Radio, it is one of the absolute best rap albums of all time. Rock the Bells, track 6. So track 6 on radio by LL Cool J. And I think it's great, except, okay, Fantano. I'm going to sound like Fantano here. It's just mixed so terribly. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's mixed so aggressively poorly that it sounds like it has to be a choice. I don't understand why is the music so far in the mix and so bad. But I don't care because it's awesome. When he says things like, I ain't touched the ground since Jump Street, man, I love it. And the L flip is good. And he's having fun. I've been waiting and debating for so long, been starving like Marvin for a Cool J song. Everybody who knows the song knows that beat. But who knows this album, knows that song, but he flips it and says starving like Marvin, so let's get it on. Then he makes the Marvin, instead of starving Marvin, which was it's just been around, just that expression has existed for a long time. I saw in Genius, it's a reference to South Park. No, sure, there's a character on South Park called Starving Marvin, but Starving Marvin's just been around forever. To the point where LL Cool J talks about it in 1986, 87, whenever that album came out. But then turns it into Marvin Gaye. It's awesome. Kill everybody. Dot as well. How is it Internet. I have watched hours of people complaining about this album, and I have not heard one person mention that he takes a shot at Kendrick Lamar. What's going on, Internet? You have one job, which is to make everything about Kendrick Lamar, and somehow you didn't do it. I don't know. Everyone's just getting weird out here. And I am really not targeting any one person, by the way, when I talk about this. This is a lot of people. Bars hit like barbells. That's awkward. That's the line between clever and cringe. I think that's cringy, the way he says it. But I can also see it. Okay, hip-hop featuring Big X, The Plug, and Jay Jones. Nice kind of swirling sounds, little auto-tune. Godzilla N-word, Chinchilla N-word, laughing to the bank like Ben Franklin, Ben Stiller. I don't know. To me, that's why I listen to Lil Wayne, is for goofy lines like that are fun and interesting. In a villa, N-word, getting head like a pillow, N-word. Bitches all over B and X like Twitter. Love it. I love it. There's a lot of weird stuff on this album. Fetishizing, exoticizing white women. And a lot of it's in reference to cocaine, because white woman is a slang for cocaine too. But so this verse has some of that. Hey, do you know who's not the guy to talk about that? Me. But I hope there is some conversation going on at some point about this album and rap music in general. Just sort of, I mean, there is a conversation about it. But I'd be interested to see a really well fleshed out essay, just sort of about like the meaning of all of that, just how much that's going on. But you don't want to hear that from me. Next song is called Sharks. Jelly Roll. I'm real close, but I'm not there yet. Okay, Jelly Roll is half of the abomination of Jelly Roll and MGK, who made that song Lonely Road. Shout out to Pat Finnerty for his breakdown. I watched his breakdown of what makes that song stink with my brother and my sister-in-law 2 days ago. So, Jelly Roll, but snakes ain't always in the grass. Sharks ain't always in the water. The good news is, though, if a shark is not in the water, not your problem, okay? If there was a shark behind me, okay, we're talking a 14-foot great white shark on this porch, I'm okay. Even if he got me, like, and I had to go to the hospital because, like, one of his teeth, like, grazed my leg, I could just walk away. But I get his point, okay? That the threats are not always where you think they are. I see everyone be like, this is just a pop song. Yeah, it is, and it's a pretty good pop song. It's a pretty good chorus. And I think Lil Wayne's verse is good, and Big Sean absolutely kills it. Jesus had Judas, Caesar had Brutus. The whole verse from Big Sean is like as good as Big Sean ever is. So I hate to tell you, everybody, it's a good song. Ugh. The Jelly Roll, half of Lonely Road. Band from NO, love the opening, the kind of thus spoke Zarathustra style beat. Of course, it's funny because I like to think about the fact that I saw the Rough Riders and Hot Boys concert in 2000. Swizz Beatz is the main producer for Rough Riders, and Swizz Beatz is the person who produced the song Banned from TV, which is the song off of this Noriega album, not the one with Lil Wayne, but off of this one, Nore. Noriega, a very underrated rapper of the 90s. I know he's a big media presence now, but as far as like just a rapper, just Noriega, Capone Noriega, just really good. Anyways, so I like it. So it's a good beat. It works. It's sort of everything that's good and bad about this album is here. Propane lighter, money old like Biden. Maybe don't talk about oldness. Because when I heard him say old like Biden, I didn't hear money. I thought he was talking about himself being old like Biden. Because in rap terms, he is. In rap terms, Lil Wayne is Joe Biden. Because he's been around for too long. Then we get to the song The Days. Dear Bono, get bumped. Zooropa is top 3 rock albums of the 90s. Okay? I have a lot of respect for you too. But Bono, get all the way bumped with your going on Joe Rogan, stupid ass, talking about how comedians are really the top of the food chain. That's not how Irish people talk, but I can't do better. I'll do an Australian accent so it's less offensive. G'day. Australians on top of the food chain. Comedians on top of the food chain. You don't even have a tambourine. Okay, I went back to British. I can't do an Irish accent. I apologize. But just get all the way bumped. This song, all right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it, trash it. This one is garbage. Absolutely. And it's because of Bono. And it's because it sounds like it's a freaking, what are they called? The Fergie and Will.i.am. What was that band? Black Eyed Peas. This sounds like it's trying to be a wedding jam. And wedding jams are never good. This is trash. I do like, though, that he talks about the death of Michael Jackson in the same sentence that he talks about the breakup of the Fat Boys. So that's cool. I love some Fat Boys love. I like that. If my days are numbered, treat every day like one. Lil Wayne, you're still going to come up with, and then some guitar. Ugh. And then we get to the song Cotton Candy featuring 2 Chainz. All right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it, trash it. This one's garbage. I think this is more AI beats. So much coke stuff and coke as white women and just so much about doing coke. And it's just cocaine bums me out. It just bums me out. And then Flex Up is good. It's a good song. Kind of mournful. I saw a lot of people talking about how they wished he would talk more about his life right now, about his disappointment with the Super Bowl. And this is it. I just talked to Hove, and he told me he's seen me. Same thing I heard when I talked to Stevie. So he feels abandoned by these people who he used to work with. He talks about spending all of his money on his kids. He's working hard. It's good. And then we get to Island Holiday. Oh, Jesus. All right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it, trash it. This one's garbage. But, so I was listening to this album with my daughter, 17-year-old daughter. Big Pusha T fan, big rap fan. We're going to go see Kendrick together at the Hershey Park, right? So like she's a rap fan, but she also like loves Lil Uzi Vert for reasons I don't quite understand. But she heard this song. And I was like, because we listened to Elephants. I'm like, this is a good song. She's like, oh, yeah, this is great. And then I play this. And she's like, Dad, this is fire. I'm like, no, this is a terrible Weezer cover. And it's totally cringe and terrible. No, Dad, this is fire. This is just like the Chop Suey cover by Lil Uzi Vert. It's fire. So maybe I don't get it. Maybe Lil Wayne understands something I don't get. Because I say, dump it, trash it. This one's garbage. My daughter says it's fire. I will let the world decide. Then we get to Loki's theme, where he's just rapping with his voice, and this choir's behind, and turned gumbo to sushi. Money tall like Matumbo, you puny. I'm a big dog, you Snoopy. Soldiers salute me, codeine pollute me. I'm Droopy. Droopy and Snoopy are different cartoon dogs from the 80s, and Gumbo's from New Orleans, and it's beautiful, and it's awesome, and I love this song. And then in the middle of the song, all right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it. Trash it. This one's garbage. And then we get to the song, If I Played Guitar. All right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it. Trash it. This one's garbage. So there's a rough stretch here in the middle. And I understand why people hate this album, because if you don't think Peanuts to an Elephant, okay, if you are incorrect and you think that Peanuts to an Elephant is a bad song, then that must be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because to me, that's what saves this album. Because we just had this really rough run. But to me, that's what it is to listen to somebody with 2,000 songs. And realistically, of those 2,000 songs, how many of those would you want to have on a playlist? Okay, just you tell me, for Christ's sake. Because some artists have a lot less music, and I would put almost all of it. Jay-Z's entire catalog, except for most of Volume 1, I would put on a playlist of rap music. The entirety of Kendrick's, I would put on the entirety of Biz Marquis' output, I would put on there, right? Like, the entirety of EPMD, I would put on there. I'm just trying to think about like the rappers where just basically everything they did was great. That's not who he is. Okay, then we get to the song Rari. This is, the first song with one of his kids. I'm of mixed feelings because and this goes to West Side Gun's kid, and this goes to Northwest. It's just too sad to me because a certain level of wealth creates unhappiness in children. So the children of the super wealthy are miserable. Okay, they are. They children who have everything, who have no pushback in life, who have no sense of gravity, don't actually know how to function as human beings. They just don't. Kids with private jets are not happy people. I'm not saying that they deserve sympathy and that they deserve more money. I'm just saying our system is really screwy. So being able to come from nothing and afford a private jet is one thing, but then giving that to your kids and then having those kids rap about how rich they are is not a pleasant experience for me, because I don't like hearing people with inherited wealth bragging about how rich they are. I'm happy that Lil Wayne has kids who are never going to be in a state of financial precarity, right? I'm happy about that. But this level of wealth, it doesn't breed happiness. You go to a super prestigious private school in New York, and all the kids are just completely hooked on drugs and just going out every night and partying and having sex. And it's just, there's a spiritual emptiness that they're not able to connect. So I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't need to hear a 16-year-old trust fund kid talking about driving around in a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, it's different because of the systemic racism and how wealth has been hoarded and kept away from non-white people in America for a couple centuries, 5, 6 centuries, right? But still, I don't know. I work on my craft, Tunchi macaroni. I like that. Then we get to Maria again, and then we get to Being Myself. So like Maria into Being Myself, that's great. This Dionne Warwick sample, the crazy studio musicians that Manny Fresh brings in here, real drums, real flute. The singing, it's a little bit overly auto-tuned, but before I let you piss me off, I pee on myself. Why do you listen to Lil Wayne? But for cringy, weird lines about periods and pooping and going pee-pee. I'm a Be Frank for my Franklin stank, man. Love it. Moolah coming in, featuring another one of his kids who's just trying to sing like Lil Yachty. But that's okay, because Lil Yachty was trying to be like, like who had more influence on Lil Yachty than Lil Wayne? Remember I was talking about before, though? About the potential of there being a sort of Me Too reckoning here? My son's fucking your daughter and I'm fucking your woman. The son's 14 years old, so don't sexualize your children at all. Don't do that. Don't talk about your kids' sex lives. I mean, you can talk to them about their lives. And if you need to have a talk about sex with your kids, by all means. But this is like a broken person saying something broken, and it's kind of slipping by. And this is the kind of thing which potentially, in 5-10 years, people are going to pull out and say, look at him sexualizing his teenage son in this terrible way. Because we know that Lil Wayne himself, he said on multiple occasions how he was R-worded as a teenager. And that's what... Anyways, he's just spitting bars. He's goofing around. Same thing they say about Mick Jagger. He was talking about it, but he wasn't actually doing it. Okay. I'm trying to be fair in my analysis here. Alone in the studio with my gun. All right, you know what? This is dumb. Dump it. Trash it. This one's garbage. The other half of Lonely Road, Finity. The other half of Lonely Road, MGK is getting in on this. MGK doing his worst my sister-in-law was asking me, who is MGK? I said, imagine if Post Malone were worse. Like, imagine if Post Malone did all the same lame things that Post Malone did, but didn't have that undeniable charm and actual talent in songwriting. Because I hate Post Malone, but I can also acknowledge that he is very good at what he does, and he is a good songwriter, and he is charismatic. And I don't blame anybody for... It upsets me that he is so popular because of the racism inherent in his switch. Okay? Just the way that he used black culture, and then when it became more convenient for him to use white culture, he jumped like this, and then everyone gets to feel cool and edgy because they're listening to the guy who used to make music with black people, right? Just this whole... Watch my video on Post Malone. But MGK is like that, but just without any of the talent. without the fact that, with nothing. So, but torso tattoos. Torso tattoos. It's one of the fucking songs. Yeah. So it's just terrible. And Kodak Black has a bad verse. He doesn't sound good. I like Kodak Black in general. So that one's trash. But then we end with the song Written History, which is great, mixing in with the Muhammad Ali monologue from 1974 when he's kind of come back and everyone thought he was too old. And this is like what I want to, I don't know. I'm Brady in his prime. I'm like Tom Brady at 45. I ain't even debating on retiring. You could get the shady 45. I've mentioned a few times on this channel that I am the same age as Kanye West and Tom Brady. When I was like 30, I realized Tom Brady was still really good. So I was like, hey, this is cool. There's like an athlete from my town, because I'm from Boston originally, who's performing really well despite the fact he's too old. And I kind of staked a lot of my personal sense of self that, like, because I was a pretty fit guy in his 30s, because I was a pretty successful person in his 30s, that I kind of like attached it. And I said to myself, as long as Tom Brady's young, I'm young. And it doesn't matter if like the young hot rookies of my youth had a career and then retired and are now like the first base coach of like the Toledo Mud Hens. Like, it doesn't matter that the young hot stars of my youth are now like in upper management, because as long as Tom Brady was hot and young and cool. I was hot and young and cool. And I could not have hitched my wagon to a better star. It worked up until a couple years ago. And now he just looks weird. It's okay. So I like this idea. He's not retiring, and that's how I want to close it. Thank you, Lil Wayne, for not retiring. Thank you for the good. Yes, we do have to skip a lot, but let us praise our elders. Even though he's younger than me, let us praise our elders. Let us support them. Let's not wait to just jump and dump on them at all times, constantly trying to find flaws and just jumping up and down, being so amazed that we had the perceptive abilities to hear the sound of an elephant. All right, there you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. The complex and interesting figure of Lil Wayne. And until next time, there's the camera.